man. But there were times I had to get him man to man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
Like the games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks when they had DeMarcus Ware, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
All right, welcome to the West War Room Rivals podcast, where rivals collide, brought to you from the JBW Solutions Studio. My name is Matt. I will be hosting tonight, and alongside me, my partners in crime, as always, the Shovik brothers, Austin and Corey, both representing Broncos country and Chiefs Kingdom. Caleb, the one Chargers fan in their population, and Cody, the sub 500 Raiders, representing them. Guys, it's going to be a great show today. We have Sly Williams backstage right now.
Yes, sir.
We're going to bring him on in just a second. We're going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Again, JBW Solutions. We are in the JBW studio. Jeff and his crew have been taking good care of us, been partnered up with us, doing great. So thank you to them. Angie and her team. We had Emporia State Federal Credit Union, which is a mouthful, but that is the Shovik brothers and the War Room Baking of choice. Troy from Field Up, Kansas. Thanks to him. And then we have a slew of others. We'll get to them later, but let's bring on the guest of honor, guys.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, we are joined by Super Bowl 50 champion, 28th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, 2012 All-American, Sly Williams.
Yes, sir.
That's
Sly.
There we go.
How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. We're so excited to have you.
Man, listen, I appreciate you guys, man. For real, it seems like y'all got some dope things going on, man. I'm excited to join you guys tonight.
Appreciate that.
We're excited. We're excited to hear your story. And again, out of every guest that we come on, that's like the biggest honor right there is getting to hear their stories. And, we're excited to dive into yours. So, Cody, Sly, if you're ready, Cody, I think you got the first question.
Yes, sir. All right, let's have a good time. So Sly, of course, everyone knows that you were a Tar Heel coming out of the draft, but your path to becoming a Tar Heel was a little different than others. So walk us through what your path was going through the junior college route before you got into North Carolina.
Man, so what's crazy about me is I didn't play football until I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And first time ever playing. And I kind of had a rough upbringing. I was raised by a single father. My mother struggled with drug abuse pretty much my whole life. Mm-hmm. And this is a lot of things I don't tell people is my father was a really good football player back in his heyday. And so he would always tell me as I was growing up, and I was big in basketball, he would always say, get into football, man. I ain't playing no football. And so I got kicked out of school as a sophomore. And when I went back my junior year, got on the right track, started going to class and working less hours at my job. And I ran into a football coach. He said, man, you a big guy. He said, come down to the facility and meet some of the coaches, and let's try to get you going. I'm like, I'll give it a try. I really had nothing else going on in my life at the time. So I'm like, give it a try. And went down there, man, fell in love with the brotherhood, the discipline, the competitive nature of it. But I was a terrible player, though, because I had never played before.
Sure.
Was really big, really athletic, but just didn't understand the game. Mm-hmm. And so my senior year, I started one game, and that was a senior day. Mm-hmm. And we got beat by like 55 points that game. So my services didn't really do us any justice that day. Let's put it like that. And once I graduated, man, I got a job at a radiator factory. And I worked there for about 6 months, and I made a decision like, hey, man, I'm going to go back to school and, try to get a degree. At the time, I wasn't even thinking about playing football, especially not at a high level. Mm-hmm. And the mentor of mine, we talked, and it was like, hey, just play football to get school paid for. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And so I started sending my tape out. Nobody called back. And I had to make a decision to either go to a different school or, just walk on to a community college so I could play right away. And I did. And, man, it changed my life because when I got there, what I realized was I was the same size. I was just as strong, just as fast as guys that was. And you guys know about the junior college level. A lot of times you have All-Americans, high school All-Americans, guys committed to Division I and Division I kickbacks. Mm-hmm. Now we had 4 of them.
Wow.
At the defensive tackle position. And I was just walking on from the middle of nowhere in Missouri. And, man, when I realized this, man, these guys wasn't giving it 100% every day. And I said, that's how I'm going to close the gap. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to give 100%, 110%. And I studied the game every day. And from the time I got there in January, so I got there January 09, and I started every game I had in college. But by the time we started training camp the next year, I was the first defensive tackle on the depth chart.
Nice.
The rest was history. I had an offer to go just about anywhere in the country I wanted to go because I became a junior college All-American.
Yeah.
And really good player at the junior college level, man, and changed my life.
Yeah. So fun fact, we're from Kansas originally.
Yes, sir.
I went to Hutch JUCO.
Yeah.
And I had friends who went to Indy. I actually had a friend in college that went with me at Emporia State who also he did track and cross country in Coffeyville. And now we live in St. Louis. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I remember you at Coffeyville, and we knew that you were a JUCO guy, and I was real excited about this because I was like, man, I went to Hutch, very familiar with Coffeyville. You obviously went to Coffeyville, and Indy's a huge rival. So we know all about the Indy rival and Coffeyville and all that. So
man, that whole Jayhawk conference is
it is.
They put a lot of big time. They had a lot of NFL athletes come out of that Jayhawk conference.
Yep. Yeah. No, I knew you from North Carolina, and so when I found out that you were Coffeyville, I thought like added an extra level of excitement. I'm like, he's right up the road. How cool is that? But kind of going along that line, what was the mindset that you had transitioning from a JUCO to a Power 5 school?
Man, I think the biggest thing for me is I had came so far in my life at that time. And, I come from nothing, you know what I'm saying? And to even think about playing at a Power 5 school, a Division I school was like, every day it's like I'm living a dream. So for me, I just had one thing in my mind, and that I didn't want to go back to where I came from. So whatever this path led me to, it wasn't going to be there. And at the time, my father was also struggling with some health issues. So I'm like, man, I got to figure out a way to make something happen for my family. And so when I got to Carolina, man, it was like, I looked at it as a job, almost like I'm going to work every day for these next 2 years. If I do everything I'm supposed to do, I take care of business in the classroom and on the field, like I'm going to become drafted to the NFL. And like, that was my mind. So every single day in college, like I've spent very little time having fun, going to parties, like very, very little time. And I spend more time grinding and studying for him and trying to become academically disciplined and really to try to change, my entire generation.
Yeah. I got a question for you regarding transitioning over to North Carolina. Did you have a mentor? Did you have a teammate or a classmate that helped you hold yourself accountable, and maybe you helped hold them accountable that you've had on this whole journey with you? Do you remember who that was during that time?
As far as at North Carolina, or like just in general?
Well, North Carolina, if they stuck around with you throughout the entire NFL journey, did you have somebody that was able to help keep you on track?
Man, when I first got to Carolina, man, I really was mentored by a guy named Tydrick Powell. He was an older guy there. He kind of mentored me. But honestly, Coach Butch Davis, who was the coach there, and they ended up firing him. Yeah. But I stayed pretty close to Butch Davis pretty much, man, throughout my entire career, even now. Just because when I first got there, man, he just done so much for me. Even when I got there, just the life advice he gave me, and just being able to go to his office and have real life communications about because I had real issues back home.
Yeah.
My father being sick, my family was struggling. So just being able to have those conversations with him. And so even when they fired him, I continued to keep in touch with him. When I got drafted, and when I was in the NFL, when I dealt with adversity, I would always reach out to him. Even when I got in the business, I reached out to him. And man, he told me one thing, man. He said, listen, Sly, when I went to his office one day and I was just talking about my family, he said, listen, Sly, he said, if you take care of business here, and mind me, this was after my first spring there. If you take care of business here for the next year, he said, you be first round draft pick. He said, you better take care of your family. He said, but you just got to focus on this right here, and not focus on the thing that's going on back home. And that was really my mindset.
He was a prophet. It came true.
Yeah. Big time. Well, you definitely took care of business for sure. when was the moment for you that you realized that you could be an NFL player?
After the first spring practice. The first spring practice that we had in North Carolina.
Nice.
Literally after that day, because I got to North Carolina in January of 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I got there, after the first spring practice, I called my family and I said, I'm about to change our life. Literally just like that, because we had, you remember, Jonathan Cooper was a first-round draft pick at guard.
Mm-hmm.
We had the tackle, Bond. James Hurst played in the NFL 10 years. Russell Bodine played for the Bengals. We had Trent, another tackle that was a third round draft pick. So all of these guys, like, had a huge offensive line. And the way I dominated, I'm like, man, if this is supposed to be the top of the line, I'm gonna be all right then. You know, and I knew then that I had opportunity. And even after my junior year, I had the opportunity to go into the draft, and I made a decision to go back and get my degree. But after the first day of spring practice, I knew that it was a change.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Man,
Love that.
yeah, that's super cool. Can you tell us some about your draft night story and what it was like getting the call from the Broncos?
So, man, I'm gonna tell you guys this. So I went to New York, right? The day before. So I went to New York. They invited me to New York, and I was trying to get my father to New York. But remember, I said he had the health issues.
Yep.
And so he couldn't go. He had kidney failure. So it was just too much to get him to New York. And so I said, okay, I left New York the day of the draft, actually. Because I said, if my father can get here, I want to go back home and be with him. And so I went back home, and we ended up renting out 2 hotel rooms that was combined. So like 2 big old suites. I had all my family in there. So I invited a bunch of family, friends, and we was in the hotel. And I remember when I got back by the time my flight landed and I got dressed and got to the hotel, man, they was probably at maybe pick 5.
Oh, wow.
So I had no idea where I was going to go. I knew I was going to go in the first round. I didn't know how high or how low it would be. And so once I got to the hotel, it was like, you know how you ever been in a situation where like you trying to preoccupy yourself by talking to other people?
Yeah.
The whole time it's like I'm nervous on the inside. And so I remember, man, picks kept going by, and I'm like, man, they really show interest. They didn't pick me, you know. But also that year, the defensive tackles, they slid a little bit. So the first defensive tackle didn't go until pick 12. And that was Star Lutulue, whatever his name was. He went to Carolina at like pick 12.
Yep.
And then Sheldon went at 13. And then the guy from Sharif Floyd went at 23. So I knew I was around a 3rd or 4th ranked guy. And so once it got to that point, I never forget, man, it was Houston was supposed to take me. And actually Dallas was supposed to take me, because Dallas called me the day before the draft and said, hey, we're going to take you at 19. And so they traded the pick. So they ended up trading the pick back, and that's when they ended up picking up the center. They traded with San Fran. San Fran came up and picked the safety. And I just remember, man, once pick 27 got there and they took DeAndre Hopkins, man, I just remember, like, I was almost about to cry, because I'm like, it's only 4 picks left. I knew I was going to be a first-round draft pick. And literally, man, my phone started ringing. And it was a 303 number. Like, hello? And it was Elway. And,
oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm like, man, I just started crying, man. I was just like, man, thank you so much. And so how it happens, they call you first, and then they come across the screen. And so they called me, had a conversation with them. They said, man, we're happy to be here. We call you back after they announce the pick and get you a travel situation. And the next thing I remember was hearing them come up to this thing and saying, with the 28th pick, the Denver Broncos select, and that's all I heard. And like my whole family, and I just had like an out-of-body experience, man. I just went back to like all the hard moments I had in life. And just like, I'm like thinking I'm finna play with Peyton Manning. Like, that's all I can think. I'm about to play with Peyton Manning. Like, John Elway is my boss. Like, this how I'm thinking, like all of my friends around, like, we come from nothing. They like, bro, that's crazy, bro. And as I'm sitting there going through my messages, I get a message from Peyton Manning.
Oh,
Now that just sealed the deal for me. Then
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience, man. And the first thing I did was I went up to my father, man. I said, "You ain't got to worry no more."
yeah.
and said, "You don't got to worry no more, man." I'm like, "I got you from here on out."
Man, what a beautiful draft day story. These keep getting so good from everyone's experience. Yeah. And again, just hearing how all that hard work finally gets you to that goal. And then the next one is, okay, let's go do something better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about the good stuff, the Broncos and Super Bowl 50. That's kind of what matters. So you mentioned Peyton Manning, John Elway, and all this, but I want to look on the defensive side. You had a chance to play with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. Man, what was that like, and how did they kind of shape you and the player that you became?
I mean, I think when you talk about the defense that we had, you know, and you just look, we had a personality. Like, we had a standard on the defensive side of the ball. And when you look at guys like, see, we know DeMarcus Ware, we know Von Miller, but guys like Malik Jackson, Derek Wolfe, Derek Wolfe, Darian Stewart, TJ Ward, like those guys was like pieces that don't always get the credit that they deserve. But like when you talk about being able to stop the run with just 4 guys, when you talk about being able to rush the passer with just 4 guys, like, man, the things that Von and DeMarcus used to do, like, it was unbelievable. Like, you talking about playing with Superman and you get to get a front row seat every day, like, how? But it's like every time we needed to play, and that's why I think that made us so good on defense, because, and I think I see a lot of translation to what I'm seeing from them now. Is they so strong on defense. We were so strong on defense, but we was a close unit though. We was very close. We held each other accountable. We didn't need the coach to get on each other because, man, we would get on each other. Like, you would see a kid go to Chris Harris, like, "Hey, man, we got to get it together, bro. Like, that ain't cool." You know what I'm saying? Like, and we stood together, and it was a viral clip that just went by, and it was a kid that Tennessee game. When he got into it with the receiver for trying to chop block Chris Harris.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, a kid came to the sideline, and once he found out what happened, he told Gary Kubiak, he said, "I'm finna get a penalty." And literally, Koob looked at him and walked away. And he went out there and got a penalty. But just the way we stood up for each other, and just like that right there was a defining moment. And I felt like that was around the time I felt like, we got a real chance. Yeah. Because so we did everything. We ate together every week. We went out together. Everything. Our kids hung out together. Everything we did together. Man, it just made us so much stronger.
Yeah, and I always go back to, obviously, from Kansas, KU fans. So Chris Harris, Keep Talib, we obviously grew up watching those guys at Kansas. And then I was extremely happy when Broncos got both of them. So I always say TJ Ward was the most underrated signing of that free agent class after the Baltimore Ravens miracle game. And then they brought in those guys, Key, TJ Ward. So I always look back on TJ Ward being one of the most underrated signings, and I'm obviously happy that TJ was able to come to Denver, because I think, they needed that edge, and I think he brought that edge as well. Obviously we talked about the Tennessee game, but then you think about him and Michael Crabtree and the Broncos Raiders rivalry with that. So
it's that swagger, man. And I tell cats is you got to understand, we went to the Super Bowl my rookie year, and we got, they.
Yeah,
they ran us out of New York, literally.
Yeah.
And we needed a different kind of edge. So when we got TJ, when we got Akeem, they brought a different kind of edge to us. And it was also like they was leaders, and we didn't necessarily need the coaches to really drive the ship anymore. And so when they came in, it was like we had more swagger. They brought that swagger, they brought the intensity, that competitive nature every day in practice. Like, man, the no-fly zone, they were perfectionists. Like, man, them dudes would stand after practice. Them dudes was there early. Them dudes was watching film. Like, they knew everything that was going on before it ever happened. Like, it was amazing to watch them work.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned it because, looking back on the defense, it is, the edge rushers or the no-fly zone. When I think of the defense, I think of you and Derek Wolfe. So I'm glad you said Derek Wolfe. But I want to know, did you guys feed off of each other? Like, push each other? Because truth be told, you guys in the middle of that defense, even as a Chiefs fan, that's what I would catch myself watching. And so I'm just curious, you held each other accountable, but did you guys also kind of push each other
100%.
better?
100%. We had No, up front, you know, if you look at the guys up front, me, Malik, Derek, you know, Vaughn, and DeMarcus, like we had a system in place where it was like, you know, hey man, do your job and I got you. But we also, again, put a lot of work in. When you talk about our defensive line coach was very hard on us, right? But he didn't really have to coach us because when we was coaching each other, like if I get knocked off the ball, like I don't got to worry about the coach coming to touch me because I got my linebacker like, hey, Sly, come on, bro.
Yeah.
I need you to hold up. You know what I'm saying? And Derek, same. If I see Derek Wolfe, I'm like, hey, bro, you got to make that play. And it wasn't a situation where it's like, who you talking to, man? You know, it's like, I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah, that's on me, bro. That's on me. Yeah, I got you, bro. And it's like being able to have that accountability factor and, you know, that level of honesty with each other, right? We can go to each other and be like, hey, pick it up, bro. You know, like we didn't even have, like we would sub ourselves in and out. Like if I'm tired, I just raise my hand, like, you know, come get me. You know what I'm saying? The same way. You know, it was a lot of unselfish football that went on that year, you know, and we all, if you look at that defense, every guy on that defense got paid.
Yeah, they sure did.
Absolutely.
Deserving.
So, you know, you started when you got drafted, Jack Del Rio was the defensive coordinator at the time. And then eventually you brought on Wade Phillips. So what was it like kind of playing for both Del Rio and then switching over to Phillips?
Man, I tell you this, Del Rio was a great coach. Really good coach. Why he was a good head coach. I think Oakland fired him too early.
I think so too. We've had long discussions about that. I agree.
Yeah, I think he was a great head coach. But I'm gonna tell you, man, about Wade Phillips, man. I love that guy to death, man. Wade Phillips is, in my opinion, one of the best defensive coordinators to ever coach football.
Yep.
You know, and when you look at the system that he had in place, you know, and the way he ran his system and the way he allowed his guys to, because I always say this about coaches, man. You can have a system, but you got certain coaches that adjust to their players. I can come in right now and say, we're going to run a 4-3. But if I don't got some meat up front, if I don't got a Terrence Knight, and if I don't got a Vince Wilfork, we ain't running no 4-3 because we don't got the beef up, but we got to blitz every play.
Right.
You know, or I can come in and say, no, this is the guys that we got. This is where they best suited at. Let's run this, right? And that's what Wade, he would come in the meeting and say, what do you guys think about this? And, you know, guys was like, okay, we're going to cover here. We're going to bracket there. Man, I got him one-on-one. Don't worry about that. When we going into the games, it's like we get into situations where, like, we hurry up. We know that a system is so easy to understand that we know the system so well that we got guys like Brandon Marsh who able to call the play on the fly. Like, we're going to run this. We're going to run this. We gone. You know, but, man, that dude is an amazing coordinator, man. An amazing guy, man.
Yeah, I love that. As a defensive guy, I love hearing the stories like that because, you know, everyone hears that for offense where it's like you got to let your players be themselves to really get the most out of them. It's no different for defense. Like, yes, there's a scheme, but, like, you got to let us be us. Like, that's what got us here, right? I absolutely love hearing that and wish we could see a little bit more of that. But transition.
That scheme that he run, the 5-2-4, right? When you look at it, you got 5 down linemen, which really is essentially a 4-3 because most time you may drop a strong side backer. Yeah. But we had as a good when you got a guy like TJ, you know, again, you talk about your place, we can be strong and we can blitz. We can send both Vaughn and DeMarcus, right? So think we got 5 rushes on any given play. We can send 5 guys. We got 2 linebackers, Brandon, and then we could just bring TJ into the box.
Yeah.
So essentially, we run a 5-3.
Yeah.
Because TJ can stop the run, he can cover the pass. So it's just being creative like that. Like, if I became a coordinator, that's a scheme I'm running for sure.
Yeah.
I got to get the guys, though. I got to
get reminiscing the good old days. I miss it. But yeah, so transitioning back a little bit to your transition to the NFL and with Denver, do you remember, was there a first teammate or teammates in Denver that you may have leaned on right when you got in the building to help you adjust to the NFL?
Man, you know what? I had a very unique situation coming to the NFL. So for me, like, I was very close to Vaughn when I first got there. But, you know, my veterans inside the room, we wasn't as close because I came into the NFL with guys, Kevin Vigorson and Terrence Knight, Mitch, and all those guys. You know, they were still trying to, you know, secure their future.
Right.
So here I come, this first round draft pick. They had just signed Terrence. Vic, they had just re-signed him. So these guys are still trying to get meat off the bone. Here I am coming in this first round draft, somebody hand the keys to, and it's like,
Right.
well, so they didn't really offer the support that, that I used to offer the young guys around me. And understandably so, they needed, they still wanted to secure their future and it felt like I wasn't ready, which at the time I wasn't ready. It took me a while to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And, leaning on Vaughn, having conversations with Vaughn. And, Chris Harris was another guy that I would talk to because, he was an underdog and just building how he built it up, man. But me and Vaughn was really close. I would go to his house a few times a week. And, eventually we brought in some other guys. DeMarcus, I became very close to him. And me and DeMarcus shared a lot of great moments together. And he taught me a lot. I learned the most from him, just about life in general.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I kind of want to take it back to when you were a rookie at Super Bowl 48 and then kind of circle it back to Super Bowl 50. What did you learn from Super Bowl 48 that you then was able to take to Super Bowl 50 to be a pivotal part for your defense to really secure that win? So what was the difference between then to 50 when you guys brought it home?
I think the biggest thing I tell people all the time, man, talent don't win games. It'll get you there, but talent don't win Super Bowls. It'll get you there because if you look at that team, I mean, Peyton Manning threw for 1 million yards.
Right.
I think he broke every record known to man.
Right.
We get to the Super Bowl and we can't even, and we was down 20 some points after the first half.
Right.
But if you look at that Seattle team, they just had something different about them.
Yeah.
Again, they had the it factor. They had the Legion of Boom. They branded themselves, and they had so much pride and just grit. They was a well put together team, but they was also a close team.
Yep.
And so when we got back, that third year, my third year, once we got back, I felt like we had that same edge because if you notice that year, Peyton Manning didn't have his best year. He struggled that year. We lost him for 5 games.
Right.
Brock Osweiler came in. He earned himself a $70 million contract just off the 5 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Peyton Manning came back in the playoffs. He still didn't necessarily light it up.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
we were so close, and like I said, we had that it factor, right? That unwillingness to lose, and that's what really carried us across the edge. But that's why I said when you got guys like Akeem, when you got guys like TJ, those guys brought swagger that we needed. We had talent all across the board. First round draft picks, Pro Bowl, we had it all. But those guys brought a different edge that I think that you need in order to win at a high level to go get there here.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. I know you played 1 year, I believe, with Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with Champ?
Man, Champ was a real true OG, like real true. And again, that was another guy, man. I had a lot of great conversations with Champ as well, just because, man, he was so seasoned and he was just. I remember one time, man, and I got hit with the vet move. I was sitting on the training table, and they got a rule. Especially if you're a rookie, you go get taped early.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one day for some reason, man, I was lagging behind. I'm up on the training table. Greek, who's my guy who was a long time athletic trainer there. I'm sitting there getting taped, and Champ, Champ, Vaughn, those guys come in like at the last minute to get taped, like right before practice. And as I'm sitting on the table getting taped, and he comes strolling in, and when he comes strolling in, didn't say a word to me. All I noticed the Greek, the trainer, he stopped taping, he backed up, and I kind of stopped for a second, and I just jumped off the table. And he got up there and got taped. And man, Champ, man, was, you talking about a guy that's, what was he, year 14? Still taking notes every day.
Yeah.
Still asking questions every day. Still early to practice every day. Amazing dude, man. Amazing dude, man. He was I can understand why he's had the success that he's had.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like being a part of that dynamic during that Super Bowl run? Like in the locker room, what was that locker room like?
Man, it was fun, man. And I tell people all the time, man, like we had a lot of fun, bro. Like it was almost like going to work every day, but it was like going to work with your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like we hung out at work all day. Then we hung out after work all day. And it was like, man, it was so many times, man, I end up at Brandon's house. He ended up at my house. We ended up at TJ's house. We was just all hanging out, man, having conversations about football, life, enjoying each other's time. And it's just like, that was we were so close. As we had practice every day. We talking about, LeBron and the Lakers. We talking, LeBron and the Cavs. All different conversations, and it's just like having we argued.
Right.
We had debates, we had arguments, disagreements, but again, it's just like having your brother. We arguing about this, we arguing about that, and we had a standard that it was like, man, listen, we're gonna do our job on the field, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Man, that's so cool. I'm like fanboying over here, but once the clock hit 0 in the Super Bowl, what was your like immediate reaction? Like, how were you feeling?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. Listen, when I won that Super Bowl, when the confetti started coming down, it was like I'm running to the stands, and like I'm literally running to the stands, and I'm grabbing my family over the I'm grabbing them, picking them up, putting them down, grabbing my family, like putting them down, like, and I'm just like, yo, like this is incredible. Like, how did I end up here? I got my son with me, and it was just, man, I'm talking about, like, it was a surreal feeling. Like, man, that was probably, I would say, the greatest moment of my career, because that was the moment I thought, like, okay, I made it.
Right.
Because for the rest of my life, you got to call me a champion.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And it's like, not only was I a part of this championship, like I was a key piece in this championship. Like,
Yes.
I was a starter on this defense, arguably one of the greatest defenses of all time, right? And I remember going back to the hotel, and I've seen Gary Cool at the head coach. He was like, Sly, do you realize you were just a part of the greatest defense of all time? And I just smiled like, I know, coach, I know, and just, man, having that moment, man, it's look, it was a beautiful moment, man, for me, man, for my family as well, and just having, like, seeing Von win defensive MVP, right? Mm-hmm. And, him going to go get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, you got to understand, man, that when you grow up with a guy, because we all grew up together, right? When you grow up with a guy and to reach that moment of success, and we just had our reunion. And we go back to Denver, and we all in the tunnel joking, Elway, Cool, Wade, we all in the joke. Like, we go out there and play the Giants right now and win.
Yeah.
Because everybody's still in shape. Everybody doing great in life. That's why I say, man, and that weekend felt like we had never left Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And we 10 years out, and we having conversations like we were still about to play a game the next day. And it just felt so good, man. And that's why I say, you talk about a lifelong brotherhood that we built.
Right.
Because you can have a good team. The 2013 team was a good team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't name all 53 guys on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But we accomplished something that 20, 30, 40 years down the road, we're going to be able to sit back with our ring on and still talk about those moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Again, like I'm soaking all this in, just hearing like all these stories, and I gotta say, it's been awesome. So, kind of getting into like today's game right now, it's Chiefs week. It's Broncos and Chiefs. You had a lot of good battles, division rivalries. What was Chiefs week like for you guys? And you were part of the team the last Broncos team to actually go into Arrowhead and win. Denver hasn't done it since. So what was that battle like on Chiefs week?
The Chiefs always gave us a good matchup, because one thing about those division games is they always suffer because they see you every week.
Mm-hmm.
Because we play the same teams and we play each other. So it's like the Chiefs and Chiefs Kingdom is a tough place to win at.
Yeah.
You go out there, man, especially around now, it's going to be cold out there. The fans going to be screaming. They're going to be screaming some inappropriate things at you, on the bus ride up and during the game, and just the energy there, man. And I always tell people, man, the Chiefs Stadium and that old Raider Stadium
mm-hmm.
are two favorite stadiums to play in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Raider Stadium with the
baseball diamond.
The dirt's still there.
Did you love tackling people on that dirt?
Man, let me tell you something. Hey, yeah, I ain't mind it.
Okay.
They put you some longs, you'll be all right, but you're going to feel it just as much as me. But when you see, the thing about the NFL is like you had those rivals. Like, so when you go play the Chiefs, it's like a mini Super Bowl every year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And same used to be with the Raiders. Obviously, they became a little bit easier to beat, but You know, man, you talking about
I appreciate you for doing that.
The Chiefs built a winning culture.
Right.
Yep.
And when you got a winning culture, no matter if the game is within 7 or 14 points, they got a chance. No matter how many interceptions, how many touchdowns, they know how to win games at the right time.
Right. I have a 2-part question for you. The first one is, obviously you would play against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Did he ever trash talk you, or did you guys ever have some trash talk going back and forth? What was it like getting trash talked by Phillip Rivers? Because he doesn't cuss, he doesn't use foul language. So what was it like when you guys would go back to back?
Man, so Phillip Rivers was my first ever sack in the NFL.
Okay.
I never sacked a guy, and it was like he wanted me to do it again. Like, yeah. I'm like, but Phillip was, man, that's my guy, because I played with the Chargers for a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is because I never considered myself a big time player in the NFL, right? You know, I was a guy that did my job. When I got to Chargers, the guy remembered me from the Denver days.
Right.
He's like, Sly. I'm like, what's up, man? Like, and he talking to me like, hey, you remember these games? I'm like, oh, that's dope, man. You know, but
that's awesome.
The ultimate competitor, right? Competitor. And you talking about, man, like I said, my first ever sack came against him. And I never, and he wanted to get sacked again, like, yeah, come on, let's do it. I'm like, oh, snap. Him and Tom Brady, they was class accident when it came to that, man. Like,
that's cool.
But when I played with Phillip and I realized how competitive he was, and I understood the edge that he played in the games with. Because in the locker room, we could be, you know, playing a game where he was competitive with everything that he did.
Right.
You know, and man,
yeah, we interviewed Quentin Jammer a month or so ago, and he would tell us too, like, practices against Phillip Rivers were fun, but also annoying because he just goes at it with you every practice. But he makes you better, of course, because he's drawing the best out of you, and you know you bring the best out of him, and so that's what he's always pushing the Chargers at the time to do. And Jammer would probably echo the exact same thing that you were saying right now.
Jam, that's my guy too, man. I played with Jam that 1 year.
Yeah.
Yep. Jam played with me in Denver. His last show was in Denver.
Right.
Yep. It was.
So second follow-up, who was your favorite AFC West team to play against?
The Raiders.
Let's go.
Always. Yep.
You know why I love the Raiders? Because the one thing about the Raiders, they're going to run that ball. They're going to come down there. They're going to be 350 across the board. You know, so it's going to be a hectic game. And I used to just love going into that stadium, man, back in the day. And again, you get around and you got to literally put your hand in the dirt. And you know, I don't know if you've been on that field, but it's like that dirt, it ain't giving. So it's like putting your hand in concrete. I mean, I loved it, man. I was sad when they left, man, because I'm like, man, that stadium and that fan base, man.
I was too, because we had a lot more blackout games during the Oakland Coliseum compared to Las Vegas. Now it's a tourism capital, great, but everybody else fills it up before the Raiders do. It needed to stay in either Oakland, or I know at the time LA was in the market for either bringing on teams. I would have much rather the Raiders go back to LA. I think that would have been a better move, but nonetheless, we're the Vegas Raiders now. We'll take, I guess, what we can get. But I need your attitude to go to the Raiders right now, because right now we're down bad with the mentality of like just staying sputtering and really not growing so much. So I need you to come on the team and be a coach for them to teach them a Super Bowl winning attitude, you know?
He'd still be their best player.
Man, when you get in those funks, it's hard to get out of them because, again, just like I said, winning is a mentality, losing is too.
Yeah.
So what I tell people all the time is that you can understand this, man, is like, again, you look at the Chiefs, for instance, right? The Chiefs could be down 21 points. And if you watch the way the entire team play, like you watch certain teams when they down, and you just see that fight until the clock says 0. Right. But then you see certain teams that go down, and it's like, man, same thing again. Because they don't believe. Like, you got to believe. Like, man, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got Tom. We got somebody back there that if we just keep on doing our job, we can break. We can break this thing. We can come back and win.
Yeah.
And sometimes it take, you know, you got to wipe the whole organization out, man. You can't continue to bring the same guys back, you know, sometimes you got to clean house, man.
We got to get a Thanos snap to just restart everything, man.
Yeah.
I am inevitable.
Yeah, we need one of those.
Yeah. So you had mentioned the reunion a few weeks back. I have a Demarcus Thomas plaque right over here next to my Broncos Super Bowl flag. Man, DT, I love hearing you guys talk about Demarcus Thomas.
Yes.
He was obviously one of my favorite players, Matt's favorite players. What was DT like, and what was like playing with DT?
I mean, dude was a phenomenal kid, man. If you think about the upbringing that he had, right, and the way he grew up and the situated with his mom and grandmother, and you just look at, you know, the way he carried himself. I mean, you talk about bona fide superstar.
Yes.
He was just a real humble dude, man. And you know, you could have a conversation with him. And I seen him in Atlanta not too long before he passed, man. I was out there hanging out, and he was out there, and you know, we was right next to each other, and we talked, man, just about, man, how you been, you know, how your son, how your mama doing? Because, you know, he went to the Super Bowl. He had a meeting. We went to the White House after the Super Bowl. That meeting that he had with Obama was part of what helped his mom and them get out of prison. You know, and just, man, I remember I was going through a lot at that time. The time of his passing, man, and I was going through a lot in my life. And I remember I was driving, and a buddy of mine called me like, he said, "You heard what happened to DT?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And when I saw the story, I'm just like, when you talk about a guy that's had his whole life in front of him, I mean, everything, didn't have kids yet, I mean, had enough money to live the rest of his life, had a beautiful home, had done all this for his family. And it's like, man, to know that in the drop of a dime, it could be over like that for him. It really hit home and put things in perspective where it's like, man, life is short, you know, because to not even know that he was suffering. Because when I started to make phone calls and just talk to some of my other teammates and people that, you know, was around him recently, it was like, man, they said that he was struggling, you know, with not still being a player anymore. And just, you know, the car wreck that he got into had really hurt him. You know, and just the way they found him, it's just like, man, you know, I don't want to say that, you know, some people are, you know, invincible, but it's almost like you look at certain guys that when they reach a certain level, you're like, man, can't nothing happen to him. Like, it's impossible. And to hear that happened to a guy like that, you know, it's just like, man, you know, God have a reason for everything, man. But that one hit home. That was a little tough to handle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know from afar, like, obviously we didn't know him, but even as a Chiefs fan, he was one of the guys you didn't root against, because whenever you saw him on the sideline in a game, he was always smiling. He was always happy. So even, you know, as a rival team fan, you know, there were certain players that you're like, I'm never going to root against. And he was always one of those for me. So yeah, thanks for sharing what it was like playing with him and what that meant to you and everything. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys keeping the name alive, man. I think, man, he was big in the community in Denver, man.
Yeah. Every
community service event, I mean, he was there. And like you said, that's that smile that he carried, man. He had that magical smile, but the kids loved him, the fans loved him. I mean, he could have been the mayor of Denver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still quote him with the only winners get wings.
Only winners get wings. Yep.
Yeah.
I just remember I didn't believe it, because the first thing that it was like one of those clickbait websites, like and I was like, that's not true. And like, I think he had Instagram at the time, and he had posted like the day before. I'm like, yeah, that's not true. And then it started spreading, and I didn't want to believe it. So, like Austin said, thanks for sharing that story with us, because I know he meant a lot to you, but he meant a lot to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's another figure in Denver that meant a lot to the community as well, and that was Pat Bolin. This is a question from our sponsor, Jeff, JBW Solutions. He wants to know, did you ever get a chance to meet Pat Bolin, and what was that like?
I absolutely got a chance to meet Pat. My first day in Denver, I sat down with him, and when I first got there, I actually got a picture. When I first got there, man, he still had a little bit of his memory left. He still he was still coming to work every day, that was his last year. He was still coming to work every day. He had a little bit of a personality. He kind of had a conversation, which he wasn't all the way there from what people told me in the past, but he 100% still had a way about, where he would still be able to communicate and, talk about, football, different things like that, man. So it was just amazing having him, as an owner. And his kids, they was around the state as well and everything. But he seemed like a great guy, man. Like I said, by the time I got there, he wasn't really all the way himself at the time anymore. But and I got a great picture of him, man. I got to find it. Phenomenal guy, though, from what I heard, man. And he was still, they said the first thing he'd do every morning was he would come to the training room. And because him and Greek, the trainer, were really good friends. He would come there, have a conversation with him, and then go up to his office. And he was still doing the same thing my first year there. And after that, they kind of kept him at home most of the time. So, yeah. If I find a picture, I have to send to you guys, man. It's a great picture.
Yeah, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, we'd love that. So before we get into our lightning round, we're going to kind of give you the floor. So now life after football, you've become an entrepreneur. You do a lot of motivational speaking. So we're going to give you the floor to kind of like speak on that, how you got started with that, what made you decide that's the route you wanted to take after the NFL.
I think the thing for me, man, when I retired from the NFL, I got into business. And what I started to realize was, again, when I talk about winning a championship and I talk about winning at a high level, it's like the NFL at the end of the day, it is a business, right? And, so you think about the way a business is ran and when you talk about the way John Elway will communicate with the janitorial staff, right, the cooking staff, and just how everybody supported one goal. And so that's why I preach when I go to corporate companies and businesses is like, listen, in order for us to win at a high level, to win the championship or whatever it is for our company, we got to get 1,000 people to fit in one box and have one goal. But the issue is, the problem is in every business in America, the number one problem is people. If you look at the NFL, most of the problems is people. So it's a lot of translation between the way football at a high level NFL and business operates. And so with me, man, when I got into business and I started to build success for myself, I started to lean on a lot of things I learned in football. And so I said, man, why don't I teach this to businesses? And so I do that, and I go to high schools and teach champion mentality to the kids and try to stay connected to the youth, man, and just help men and former athletes, man, rebuild themselves. Right? 'Cause the one thing about being an athlete is when that ball stops, a lot of stuff stop along with it.
Yeah.
And you essentially got to reinvent yourself all over again. And I went through that struggle as well. And, not being able to, because you can have all the money in the world, you can have a beautiful home, cars, but it's something about a man, it's a purpose that you got to fulfill. Right? Like I wake up every day and I'm driven to be a better father, right? I'm driven to be a better husband. Whatever it is, I'm driven to do these certain things in life. And it's like when I don't got that hunger, I'm depressed. And so, man, that's what I'm focused heavy on. It's a mission of mine, man. It's what I've been, and I love it, man. Been in real estate too, for a while. 50 different properties, so and doing little things, but I appreciate you guys' action, man. It's dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Again, it's one of our favorite things to do on here is not get to know you just as the player, but as the man as well. So again, this journey is also, it's been incredible. Can't speak for, I'm pretty sure the guys feel the same way. I'm fanboying here a little bit, but this has been awesome. So, just to close it out, we're going to go ahead and jump into the lightning round. And I think Caleb, you got the first question.
Yeah. So who was your favorite guy to play with on the no-fly zone team?
For the secondary or just the whole entire team?
The whole team.
Oh, my favorite player is DeMarcus Ware. That's my guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guy. D-Ware was my guy.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
All right. So we talked a lot about the 2015 defense. If there's one word that you could describe that team, what would that word be?
Swagger.
Yeah. You guys definitely had a lot of it every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday you guys played. So, yeah, I'd agree.
I still
I'm talking about the way we showed up to the game, though. Like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Walking down, you go to the mall. You come down there. We used to put it on, man. We had swagger. We had that swag, man. We was crazy, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think I still almost daily or weekly bring up the Talib and Crabtree because
that's always a fun bit.
Because it's like an isolated fight, but like it was more than that. Like it's just who that team was.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
And I don't know. It could be because it was against the Raiders, but to me, like that said so much more than just a fight. Like that's just who that team was.
But them dude, I'm gonna tell you one thing why Aqib is such a great guy, man, because he's unapologetically himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one thing about it is, man, his belief in the things that he's doing, he believes heavily in, and he's willing to go to bat with anybody. I've seen him go to bat with the upper level people just about the decision that he made because he believed so heavily in what he did.
Yeah.
Right. And man, one time, man, he was apologizing to the team. He was like, I apologize, for what I did, but if it can't, I would do it again. It was like, but that's what made us so good, though. Just like that type of accountability, but also just having it like, I believe in what I did. I did what I did for a reason.
Right.
Yeah. You played with, again, TJ Ward, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, and they were kind of chirpers. Like they were very vocal. I remember TJ Ward when he had that suspension. They said, "Why didn't you appeal?" And he said, "My name's not Tom Brady." Yeah. And I had to throw that because my mom's a Patriots fan watching the show, so I just wanted to throw that out there. But who was the best trash talker on the Broncos defense that you remember playing with?
Chris Harris was an amazing trash talker. And Chris Harris was like, he's kind of like, because again, Aqib was a great track, but Chris Harris was like a peasant, man, because he didn't give up many catches, didn't give up any touchdowns. And every time he would bat a ball and intercept the ball, he let the whole stadium know.
Yeah.
And he would call people out publicly, and he had some battles with Antonio Brown. You got to think, man, Chris Harris locked up some of the best receivers.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And you talking about a guy that Chris Harris maybe 5'10", maybe run a 4.6, maybe 4. I don't know, but you talking about a guy that did work.
Yeah,
did work.
It helped that he had an elite pass front to cause havoc back there too. So
anytime you can rush forward and cover, you're gonna be a good defense.
Yeah.
And
he wasn't technically supposed to be good out of college either.
Undrafted guy.
As KU fans knew what was happening with him. You see talent, you can see it, right? But I imagine a little bit of that chip. He went from undrafted to, arguably one of the top 1 or 2 or 3 corners in the NFL during his time.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take it. He had a lot of heart, man. Chris Harris had a lot of heart. No matter how tall, you hit tight end, he had a lot of heart, man, and a lot of belief in self, man. And when I first got drafted to Denver, and I want to say this might have been year 2 for him, they knew then he was going to be a heck of a player because they told me when I got drafted, we got a corner undrafted. They said he ain't the biggest, he ain't the fastest, but the guy locked down.
Yeah.
He lived up to every bit of it. He let you know he locked you down too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
As he should.
Yeah.
So
strap Harris for a reason.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So last one for me as we wrap up before we get to the final question from Austin. It's Chiefs Broncos week. Broncos get the win this weekend.
Come on.
Yeah, I think so.
Short, sweet, to the point. I dig it.
I think the defense for the Broncos is, I think they very similar to us. You know what I'm saying? I think they could rush the passer at a very high level. I think they got that swagger. They very dominant. If they figure it out on offense, come February, they can really create some havoc. They got to figure some more things on offense and put us more points. But their defense, man, is gonna get Pat Mahomes some problems.
See, and this might be shocking, but partially because of what you and that defense did in your time, I've actually went on before the season and said Denver's going to win the division and that defense can win them a Super Bowl, because I wholeheartedly think an okay offense can win a Super Bowl with a stacked defense. And let's make no bones about it, that Denver defense, it's every bit of elite. Like,
100%. I mean,
they could rush 3 people and get a nasty pass rush if they wanted to. Just Benito, Cooper, and Allen. So like that defense I still think it can win them a Super Bowl, even if the offense kind of.
I agree. When you got the offense, they just don't lose the game for it. You know, run the ball. You know, right? Be effective in the run game. Control the line, control the clock, and the defense could take care of the rest.
Yep. Yeah. No, I can. We had Chris Hogan on earlier, and he said the mentality on some of those Buccaneers teams where they told the offense to score 17 points and we'll win. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of where this Broncos team is. Like, maybe not even quite 17. Like, you get us a couple touchdowns, like, we'll probably be able to take care of the rest for you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they won last game. What was it?
10-7.
There's been
I'm gonna tell you right now, you ain't winning many games in the NFL with 10 points. Unless
I agree.
Like 10 points.
I think they won a game scoring 13 points this year as well. So on the defense.
Yep. Man,
but
they playing ball.
Yeah, so we like to end the show with this question. It's been one of our favorite questions to ask, and we've gotten many different angles on the answer. So when people hear the name Sylvester Williams, you know what? Let's do it correctly. When people hear Super Bowl 50 champion Sylvester Williams, what do you want them to remember you for?
I mean, the American dream.
I love that.
I always say, man, you talk about a kid that come from, when I tell you guys, I came from the absolute bottom, nothing. And the only tool, my father, I had 2 tools in my toolbox. It was my mindset and my work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe anybody in this world, I don't care who you are, if there's something that you want to accomplish in life, if you got the right mindset and you put the work in, it's accomplishable. And I don't say that because I became an elite athlete. I said it because I became a good businessman. I became my son is 12 years old. I've been in an 11-year battle. He lived me full time. Got full custody of him, so and legal. I got custody of my other kids. So when you talk about a man that could reinvent himself over and over again, I got a beautiful wife. Right after I went through a devastating heartbreak, I got the woman in my dream. So when I say about reinvention over and over again, it's like I just believe in myself. And I believe that I deserve the life that I want. That American dream that we all talk about, I deserve that. Just like Caleb, you deserve that. Cody, Matt, Austin, Corey, you guys deserve that too. So it's like, if that's what we want, whatever it is, well, let's go get it, because what's stopping us?
Right.
Well, I want to say personally that I can't thank you enough for coming on here tonight and sharing your stories. It's been really, truly an honor. And I'm hoping we can get you back on here later on in the season. Hopefully maybe another Super Bowl run for the Broncos this year. And just, talk more football, talk more life. We say it every time, each episode with former players, it keeps getting better and better. But honestly, we're just 5 fans of football that just, we just want to sit and talk football. And that's, the vision for this show, and to be able to have guys like you and, Carl Pickens and all the other guys that we've had on, man, it's been truly an honor. Keep grinding, man. You're an inspiration. It's fun to watch you. Matt and I were super excited about this. So again, I thank you.
Man, listen, man, you guys growing, man. Just keep up the work, man. Got a great thing. I got one thing to say, man. All I gotta say, I love the Birds. I just say, man, I just feel bad because the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, that's the Oakland guy, man, Cody.
I know, man. We're working on it.
The thing is, Cody, the reason why I feel bad for you, because it's like, I don't really see how soon it's gonna really get better.
Sly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I feel the same way, my man. I'm telling you, like, I'm seeing it and I'm like, listen, we've gone 4 different rebuilds, and so that Thanos snap, I don't know if we can even get it on that. So, but man, hey, I'm cool with just being able to come on screen and talk to Super Bowl champion, even if it's not from my team. It's still an honor to meet you, hear your story, and still get to connect with you on a human level, even if my Raiders aren't living up to expectation. I get a chance to share a screen with you, so I'm honored, my friend.
I appreciate you guys, man. It was dope, man. I love to come back, man. I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Sly, we gotta get you a Westy Bestie shirt, if that's okay with you. We'd love to get you a
Absolutely.
Westy Bestie shirt. Yeah, definitely. But thank you again. It was a lot of fun. We hope you enjoyed your time. I've been fanboying from start to finish. Thank you so much. This is really an honor to have you on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Have a take care, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. Be well, sir.
Yeah.
All right,
man.
Dude,
that was awesome. That was probably one of my favorite shows right there.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
That was great.
Caleb, how was your first episode with a former player?
Dude, I was so nervous. I was super nervous. But dude, that was so cool. I hope it was okay for him. That's all I want to say.
Yeah,
I hope I wasn't too shaky for him.
No.
I mean, we've all been there, right? We've all had our first episode. Just happened to be Coach Vermeil, Hall of Fame coach, and my brother was telling you before we came on tonight what that moment was like. So, Matt, what give us your initial thoughts, man?
Man, such an incredible story. You know, like again, from humble beginnings. Like when you think of humble beginnings, like right now, that's Sly Williams. Like with everything that was going on with his mom and being raised by his dad, and you know all the struggles that he went through. And again, like he had mentioned, like constantly rebuilding myself to like have to keep doing that and still be positive about it and not like woe is me, but just keep persevering through that. That like, yeah, you can win a Super Bowl, but like to be able to triumph over everything that he has, like no one's going to take that away from him. And we got to hear the story. So that was awesome. Again, I always said it's not having the athletes on, it's getting to hear their journey. That's why I love this. So
yeah.
And I think it's the draft night stories that keep doing it for me.
Yeah.
The reactions, obviously, you know, Chris Hovins was obviously one of the better ones as far as like, you know, his, you know, reliving that moment. Right. And then to hear him saying, well, if my dad can't be in New York, then I'm going to be with him. So being able to go back and spend it with his dad. Matt, what's our reaction of John Elway's calling our phone and was just like, hey, Manning's texting you.
I don't know what to do with my hands. That's my reaction.
All of our mouths just dropped on the floor. John Elway called you? Oh, yes, that is absolutely
And then like 10 minutes later, you get a text from Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's unreal. I think my favorite thing, he kind of sideways mentioned it, was like, it wasn't necessarily, and we've heard this quote somewhere, but where it wasn't, they didn't necessarily love winning. They had a locker room full of dudes who hated losing.
Shorzy.
Right? Yeah, that's where we heard it. And like, he mentioned that, and I'm like, there is a difference. Like everyone loves winning, right? Yep. We all want to win, whether you admit it or not. Yep. But it's those people who hate losing that I think are able to do and live the American dream. Like he said, that you're able to keep persevering. You're able to keep rebuilding yourself. You're able to get through these things, not because I want to win, but because I hate to lose. And I don't know, that kind of stuck out to me on that.
Cody, you, and then I want to hear more of Caleb's thoughts, but Cody, you, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Honestly, I think one of the things I wanted to dive more into, and maybe when he comes back, we'll do this a little bit more, is, you know, he mentioned a troubling upbringing. And I'd love, because, you know, a lot of our past has shaped us and shaped his mentality and his work ethic. And, you know, I really would love to dive in to get to know that a little bit more, because that's what ultimately the human being that drove the football player to be as good as he was to help Denver win a Super Bowl, and then carry on to where he's now a business person, to where he's seeing things bigger and better. And I'm just curious on like the journey that he got to that level to have that mindset, you know. And my next thing I think about it, I think something that a little nugget that he gave us that I think is going to carry us as not only friends, co-hosts, and people that are trying to make the show big, is he goes, all you need is two things in your toolbox: working hard and just, you know, being able to go to work every single day. And I think something like that is very possible for really anybody. And for us, like if we just put in the work and show up, like that's half the battle, and we just let the cards fall where they are. But don't give up working hard, I think, is the ultimate, you know, message that he just, you know, tells to everybody. And I think to me, those two things that I loved about this interview, and I can't wait till he comes back. I'm a Raiders fan, but you know, I can live with having a Broncos fan being like one of the better guest that we've got to pick his brain at and just get to know him. So,
and I want those clips of him saying, why are you like
why are you
like, I get, I get the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, but like the Raiders, like I want those clips.
Yeah. I got a lot of work to do after this.
Yeah. And Caleb, I'm watching your reaction kind of throughout the show because one, it made me super happy just to see how excited you were about this and how I know that you're all in with this. Like I can speak for everybody here that the 2 weeks that we've had you kind of on with us and doing your thing, now you're kind of getting to live it out right now. What give us your thoughts tonight, man? Like what's going through your mind as you're because I could tell you're soaking it all in.
Yep.
You're listening. So give us your thoughts and
Man, it was incredible. This is one of the coolest moments I've had. It was awesome. Just like hearing the stories and stuff like that. Like I've met some guys that have played, that kind of thing. But as far as like getting to talk with him like this, never in my life would I thought that this would happen. So this is awesome. This was so cool. And what an amazing dude, man.
Yeah.
Incredible guy. Like talking about his upbringing all the way to now he's made it, like what a guy, man.
Did you have a favorite like story?
All
of them. Yeah. I mean, all of them.
All of them. I was literally like fanboying. Like I said earlier in the show, I was so probably the one that I liked the most was just talking about his upbringing, really, man.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to make it through all that, like that is not easy, man. And most people don't make it through that kind of thing the way he did. And then on top of that, he only played 1 year of high school football and only started one game, and then he won a Super Bowl. Like first round pick. That's crazy. Like that is absurd, So that was awesome.
Yeah, and we got to remember Westy Bestie shirt.
Yep, Matt.
So we got to remember that one. And I do look forward to having him back on for sure.
I just love how everything, even through everything, like everything he was doing was somewhat mentioned family.
Yeah.
Honestly, like draft night, I didn't go to the draft because I want to be with my dad. That first practice I had when I realized I could make it to the NFL, I called my family and was like, I'm gonna get us taken care of. Like it all circled back to that. And honestly, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that because it's like, that's the part we want to hear. We see all these guys as players, right? Like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is a superstar MVP. He had a bad game. Now I hate him. Like, come on. Like, he's still a person. He's still a husband. He's still a father, still a son. Like, there's still more to him than yes, we can critique his play. Like that's what we do. But at the end of the day, there's so much more to these people than players. And that's just my favorite takeaway of when we have these guests.
I think one of those, and Matt, you can kind of echo this because obviously we had a chance to kind of celebrate in our own way with Super Bowl 50 because everything was about the Panthers going in, Cam Newton MVP, their offense. The Peyton Manning was struggling. The defense, could the defense actually match up with this? And I still to this day say the Broncos broke Cam Newton.
I thought you were going to ask that. I thought you were.
I did too. That's what I was like.
But at the same time, it's not one of those where I'm not trying to put him in a spot where now they freeze it and they like, hey, Cam Newton, and now we're getting baited just for the wrong reason. Yeah. But to hear his story about clock strikes zeros, the confetti starts falling, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm running over to the stands. I'm kid. So Matt, what kind of stood out to you with him talking about that?
I think probably when he said they got back to the hotel and Coach Kubiak was like, how does it feel knowing that you were just part of the greatest defense in history? That right there, man, that kind of gave me chills when he said that because like literally he was, and it wasn't like he was a backup or like an impact. Like he was a starter. He mentioned it. I was a starter. I think he had a sack in the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah.
But he had an impact on the game. He started in the Super Bowl. He played the entire game. He had a huge impact in that entire season. So like literally when you think about it, yeah, like he was part of the greatest defense like we've ever seen in our day. You know, and you think about all the other defenses, you know, the Purple People Eaters, the Orange Crush, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Like, you talk about the Legion of Boom, you talk about them, but like the no-fly zone is always going to be at the top, and he was part of it.
And I think what's crazy is when you put it in perspective, that was 4 or 5 years of him being removed from like JUCO football.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he went from JUCO football to being being asked, how does it feel to be part of one of the greatest defenses ever? And like that, 4, 5, 6 year stretch, like that, like in perspective, that's just incredible. Honestly, I can't think of another word.
Yep. Truly.
Does anyone else have anything before we wrap it up?
Man.
One of my favorites.
I love this episode.
Yeah, like I said, not taking away from our other guests. I love having all of them. They were all great, but I got to say, I think I finally found like this one was probably my favorite one. Again, not taking away from Carl or John, Abraham, Jason Webster, but not taking away from them. But man, this one probably is my favorite.
You combine the Super Bowl 50 victory with, a little reminiscing on DT. Like it just meant a little bit more, specifically for Broncos fans, right? Like it just it meant a little bit more.
I knew once.
Pat.
And Pat.
Yeah.
I knew once Matt had confirmed that he was coming on the show. I knew immediately what the DT question. I mean, it was a no-brainer. He meant so much, not only to his teammates, but to the Bronco fans. I mean,
he was good for football.
He was good for football. And I even think back, and I'm sitting, and I'll be the first to admit, when we drafted him, I'm kind of like, Des Bryant was there. Like, what are we, like, what is going on here? He went to Georgia Tech. They're an option offense. And then just immediately I ate crow on it. I mean, before you know it, he knows it was my favorite player immediately. It was, I couldn't stop watching, and I was absolutely devastated when Matt, like, we didn't know if it was true or not. And then it started coming from the news outlets, and yeah, man, I was absolutely devastated. And I was like, oh man. So I'm glad he was able to share that with us.
Very special.
And I love that he loves that we're keeping the name alive as well.
Yeah.
And I can promise him that as long as I'm still alive, I'm going to make sure that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Every year.
I got his autographed helmet right there in the back. So
yeah, you will never not hear me talk about Demaryius Thomas ever. So I can promise you that. So
I think
Cody.
Oh, I was just going to say, as a Raiders fan, there's a very short list of non-Raider players that I'm a huge fan of. DT is on there probably. And I would say, not to be, not to steal any thunder or anything, but I just remember his rookie year when he caught that touchdown pass from Tim Tebow, sending the Steelers home. To me, that was when I was like, oh, that was such a legit play. And obviously when he played with Peyton, and then I still remember when he went on to the Jets and still was pretty productive before he was, no longer playing football. But I just remember Demaryius Thomas, to me, was like one of my favorite non-Raider players. Just, I couldn't help but root for him, like almost subconsciously, like whenever, and again, I'm not saying fantasy football is relevant to real life, but just, I almost felt like I wanted to have him on my team just so I had him. So, he, again, somebody that I highly respected and always wanted to succeed, even though he wasn't on one of my Raider teams, which if he was a Raider, he'd probably be like a fan favorite from day one.
It's that smile, man. He always had it. Always had it.
I want more Bronco players on the show. I can now say I want more Broncos players on the show. TJ Ward.
I'm going to start reaching out to some more Raider players.
I hope TJ watched the show, man.
Yeah.
TJ,
if you watch this, get over. Like, come on, let's do this. Let's reminisce more about Super Bowl 50. I can talk about Super Bowl 50 all day.
And you're not Tom Brady.
Yeah, you're not Tom Brady. But if Tom Brady did want to come on here,
I'm not saying
no.
I'm not saying
no. Boys, we have a pregame show this weekend, so it's back to football.
Yeah.
Big matchups this weekend, except for the Monday night game. So
hey.
And we, as much fun as we had tonight, we know that we got to get back to our sports talk, and I look forward to seeing you guys Sunday morning. So if there's nothing else, take us home.
All right. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a great show. Sly Williams, thank you for joining us. Again, truly an honor. Shout out to our sponsors again. West War Room Rivals podcast, coming to you live from the JBW Solutions studio. Thank you, my dad, Jeff. of JBW Solutions, been a big sponsor, really takes care of us there. So Jeff, thank you. Angie from Emporia State Federal Credit Union, the Shovic's banking of choice, the War Room's banking of choice. Angie and her team also do a good job taking care of us, as well as Troy from Field Ops, Kansas. Noah, Badger Barrel Grills, In a World of Butterflies, Be a Badger. I think Austin is wearing a Homage shirt.
We both are.
And so is Corey. Yep. So Corey and Austin, they're wearing shirts from Homage. Their link is in the bio. Make sure you go to their website, check out all their stuff. They got a lot of vintage gear. So Homage, Shank It Golf, the Shovick brothers golf pretty much every week. They might as well be Happy Gilmore brothers.
We got another
tea time Saturday, boys.
Yeah. And then I believe we have Beard Club again. I think. Well, no, Caleb's got a little bit of peach fuzz. I think it might just be armpit hair, but the Beard Club, again, thank you to them. Again, all the links are in the bio. Make sure you check out their websites. And, guys, we will see you on Sunday morning.
Don't forget the T Publix. We got our twinsies.
Don't forget to get yourself some merch. Link in the bio. Get yourself a Where Rivals Collide gear.
Tell us. Make sure you coordinate with us next time. Jeez.
Yeah, you fakers.
Did you not get my? Did you guys not get my text? Sorry,
fakies. Quit being fakies.
Quit being fakies, guys.
All right, gents.
All right, see you on Sunday.